22 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Robin, when I was in elementary school, I don't know that I ever told you this story, there was a psychiatrist or a psychologist that was down in the nurse's office, and each one of us kids, one at a time, had to go down and see this lady psychologist, right? Okay. And so I can remember exactly what happened. She said to me, I have a Tootsie Roll here, and I'll give you this Tootsie Roll. Or you can come back tomorrow and I'll give you two Tootsie Rolls. So would you rather have one today or have nothing today but two tomorrow? And I took the one today because I didn't want to have to come back. Yeah. I didn't know who she was. Yeah. I didn't want, I mean, I actually understood the psychology she was trying to figure out. You know, like, will kids understand that if you wait, it's better? You know, and so I've always thought all these years, you know, it's like 55 years later, I've always thought, what if she had said, I'll give you $1 today, or if you come back tomorrow, I'll give you $2. Then I would have said, oh, I'll be back tomorrow. Right. $2 would have been better than two Tootsie Rolls. Exactly. I wasn't a big Tootsie Roll fan anyway. Michelle Balconi, Robin, am I saying her name right? She's been with us before. I should know how to say her name. She's a freelance writer, a speaker. She studied at the University of Florida, right? Yes. And she's got a book called Let's Chat About Economics, Basic Principles Through Everyday Scenarios. And it is a way to help young people understand the importance of understanding saving and I don't know if investing is the right word here. Michelle, good morning, Michelle. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm great. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Hello, Ocala. I grew up in Gainesville.
Oh, you grew up in Gainesville. Did you go to the University of Florida?
I did not. I transferred out to California, so I went to a school in California. So, but, you know, Gainesville is my home, and I grew up going down to Ocala for lots of parades and springs and is it Wet and Wild? What is the name of the
Wild Waters?
Yeah, Wild Waters. Yeah.
Wild Waters. Thank you. yes. So all that good fun stuff.
So where are you now? In California?
No, we're in Detroit actually. Moving to California soon, but we've been in Detroit almost 10 years, raising our kids here.
Detroit has some economic lessons for us adults, doesn't it?
It does, and the thing is, I loved your intro with the Tootsie Rolls, because whether you look at economics from a financial point of view or just, you know, a time and resource point of view, you can understand the concepts, which is why I think it's really important to talk to elementary age kids about economics. It's all built around scarcity and supply and demand. Those principles don't change regardless of what we're talking about, Tootsie Rolls or, you know, banking and investment accounts. Yeah,
and there was a TED Talks lady, and she was in Gainesville, and I can't remember what her name was, but she told the story how when she was a little girl, she started some kind of a lemonade stand or something like that, and she actually got her friends to work it. So
and a cleaning service too.
Yeah, she as an adult she started cleaning. As a college student, she started a cleaning service. Yes, but I think if you learn those things early on, then you can apply them in ways that we don't really understand as we've grown up. Those of us who didn't learn those things, I really never learned those things. I mean, I know them now.
Well, here's the biggest thing I've learned in being a mom is that you meet kids where they are, right? So if we have examples from our experiences in life and we really want to impart that knowledge to our kids and our grandchildren or, you know, children we're mentoring in the community, the best thing to do is to meet them where they are and use examples that they are using on a daily basis. That's what we've done in our book, Let's Chat About Economics. We have economic examples that revolve around going to the grocery store and planning a family trip, and even all the choices of what you're going to do with your time in the summer, during the summer break. So that can be treated as a scarce resource, your time, and how you're using your time. And then we can talk about diminishing returns and opportunity costs too, which is just the thing you didn't choose.
It's really good to approach children with elements of that aspect, but the parents shouldn't burden their children if they're going through hard financial times. They shouldn't be complaining to them or saying derogatory things.
Well, I think, you know, you have to do what's good for your family. I personally believe if you never prove or show your kids that you're working towards something or struggling in any way, then when they have to work for something or struggle, they feel disconnected from their family and they feel that they're the only one struggling in life. And we both know that's just not true. We all have struggles and challenges that we meet, be it financial or, in many different areas, working hard in school, certainly. So, a lot of parents obviously don't want to talk specific numbers with their kids, and our book isn't even about finance. It's about economic choices. In fact, what I like to ask people to do is kind of a word replacement. When you hear the word economics, just substitute the word choice.
Oh, I like
whether you're Donald Trump, you could be Donald Trump running for president. You could be our current president. You could be, someone in Ocala making decisions on are we going to repave the roads, or just running, time management in your own family. You're all using economic principles of scarcity, supply and demand. The relationship between those things never changes, no matter, if you're thinking, what time should I go to bed because I have to get up at this time in the morning, what I'm eating, what I'm wearing, after school, are you going to, hang out and play video games, or are you going to, go practice your sport or practice for a spelling test? These are all decisions that kids make every day. There's not a switch that all of a sudden you're 18 and you better start thinking economically. And, in high school or college, you have to take microeconomics and you can't relate to it. You feel like a failure. Let's tell kids right now, I'm talking about an 8-year-old child right now, ask them what choices they made today, and then map it to economics. If you don't feel comfortable doing that, we've written 4 really familiar, easy-to-read, less than 10-minute stories to walk you through the real terms. So all of a sudden your kid knows when they make a choice, they're using economics.
Good information. Let's take a little break, Michelle. We'll be right back.
Okay, great.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. It'll be warm and humid on this Monday with clouds and sun, along with a shower or thunderstorm in spots this afternoon. The high 82 to 86. Mostly cloudy, warm, and muggy tonight with a shower or thunderstorm in spots, mainly during the evening hours over the interior. The overnight low 69 to 73. For tomorrow, times of clouds and sun, warm and humid with a shower in the area. The high 83 to 87. From the Florida Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Joe Lundberg.
On this episode of What Not to Do, brought to you by
Mike Scott Plumbing. If water runs through it, we do it.
I thought I told you to call Mike Scott Plumbing to get this leak fixed.
I did call the plumbers. They were just here.
Let me get this straight. You're telling me Mike Scott Plumbing was just here?
Well, not exactly.
Well, then who exactly was here?
The other plumbers. They were having a sale.
Is that why there's duct tape on my toilet?
Wait, I don't see any that duct tape. Well, at least it matches the grout color.
There's a reason we only call Mike Scott Plumbing. They're on time, every time. They don't charge extra for nights, weekends, or holidays. And most importantly, and I need you to pay attention on this part, they actually fix it.
Okay, so you want me to try to fix it?
Yes, I do. By calling Mike Scott Plumbing, like you should have done in the first place.
Yes, dear. What's the number again?
You really should know this by heart. 866-314-4443.
Got it. 866-314-4443.
On next week's episode of What Not to Do.
Seriously? A helicopter?
Concerned with increasing theft of packages left at residential locations? Primarily scumbags taking quality merchandise from honest, hardworking people. Obviously, most folks don't want to rent a private mailbox, but they do want options. After contemplating the Ratifications Personal Service Center at 2375 Northeast 25th Avenue will have a new service, simply called Package Receiving. For a small fee, Personal Service Center will receive packages on behalf of local residents. The postmaster has approved the service. Questions call 789-6683. Personal Service Center, 789-6683.
Whether you're building it up or knocking it down, get it done, rent it now. Sunbelt Rentals is here to make your job a little easier. Our knowledgeable staff will help you find the right equipment for any job, big or small. Did you know that Sunbelt Rentals carries heaters, air conditioners, generators, lighting, traffic control, and so much more? So whether you're building it up or knocking it down, we've got the equipment you need. Get it done, rent it now. And right now, for a limited time, you can have it for less. Just by mentioning this ad, if you rent it Friday afternoon, you can keep it the whole weekend and only pay for one day. But this is a limited time offer, so stop into Sunbelt Rentals today, Northwest 27th, just a quarter mile east of I-75. For more information, just give us a call, 352-369-9101. 352-369-9101. Sunbelt Rentals. Get it done, rent it now. 352-369-9101.
All right. It looks like it's 77 degrees here at the studios of The Source, broadcasting live from the Paddock Mall. On the phone is Michelle Balconi. Michelle, am I saying your last name right?
Yes, Balconi.
Okay, and the book is called "Let's Chat About Economics." It's a book for children to learn about money. Now, here's what I was thinking during the break. When I was a kid, I had a little job working with my dad, actually, cleaning a church. My dad was a policeman, but he had this moonlighting job, and so us kids all helped him. So we made like $3.50 a week or something, $3.50 a week, something like that. All right, so I understood the working and I understood the saving. But I think the lesson I never learned as a child was borrowing and paying back, of course, and investing. Are those two things mentioned in this book?
They are not exactly. Like I said earlier, we tend to use examples that kids find themselves facing, choices and decisions they face on a daily basis. My personal experience is that when you start talking to kids about money and investing and filling out a checkbook, other than basic simple addition and subtraction, that they're doing already in math, there also is a unit on compound interest in math for later elementary and middle school. If you're using those examples, they're going to glaze over. It's not really relevant to what they're doing. Right. Yes, kids should know when the time comes that borrowing has an opportunity cost associated with it. You're going to pay interest. So you will pay more for those jeans when you put it on your credit card if you don't pay it off than you would if you use cash. What I'm saying is use an everyday example now at the elementary and middle school age life experience so that is not a foreign concept to them in high school and early in college. We've all heard that kids are mailed credit cards as soon as they hit 18, maybe even earlier. Right. So don't address it then. Don't bring up the concept then. Use a concept with an example that applies to their life earlier in life. Like use your muscle memory on that. Okay, so let's say your child wants to start a little lemonade stand. So you help them build the stand itself, and now you have to pay for the lemons and the sugar. Okay, those are the two commodities. So do you just, as parents, you just buy them for them, and so they start off with, they're not in debt at all? Or do you say, well, I mean, you could do that. I mean, that's your family decision. I can tell you a real world experience in our family, and that is one of our children does a little day camp a couple of times during the summer for younger kids. And they do a different arts and craft project every day. So the other mom and I will loan them the money to do that, and then they have to pay us out of their proceeds.
Oh, okay. So there is a little bit of borrowing and paying back lesson that does happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
So tell me about the different chapters in the book. And are there 4 different lessons in the book?
There are, yes. We have 4 chapters that we've built around, familiar scenarios. So going to the grocery store, planning a family trip, in this case, it's would you fly somewhere or would you just pack it up in the car and drive somewhere? Summertime, what are all of the examples of choices that you have in the summertime and activities where we address there's no such thing as a free lunch and savings and spending. The 4th chapter, we address price elasticity of demand, which really puts together for kids when you have a lot of choices to buy something, the price will be flexible. When you don't have as many choices, then the price is not going to be as flexible. You're going to have to pay full price. We do that with, which is great this time of year, a must-have tech gadget. Just think of the latest, coolest toy that's coming out for the holidays. Right now, it's those scooters, the hoverboards, are really popular right now, and kids are asking for them for gifts for the holidays. That's a must-have item. There's not a lot of flexibility in pricing with those if you want a certain kind. And we graph this out in each chapter. Each chapter has illustration, but also has a graph. And these aren't the red plot point, blue plot point graphs. These are really robust illustrated graphs. So, for example, in the grocery store chapter, we actually graph the price of red roses in the month of February and show the bright red blossoms of the roses and how the price increases up until mid-February, February 14th, and then drops off the next day. And so these are really easy concepts for kids to get. And we've chosen to graph it so that they can really follow along. And we use real terms. There's a glossary in the back of the book to help with that too, because kids are empowered by real information.
Economics is something that really needs to be brought back to the schools. I think when I was in school in the 70s, we had a required course of government and economics, so they could prepare the high schoolers for going off to college and things like that. But it really is wonderful that you're bringing this to the elementary age students.
Yeah, and you know what, you bring up a good point. So I work with a lot of parents, and I speak at a lot of schools. So the feedback I get is that, you know, aren't they learning this in school? And the answer is yes, in some schools at an early age. In Michigan, I can tell you, I've gone through our curriculum. We have economics in kindergarten through 12th grade at various examples, you know, increasing with each year of school. So that's fantastic. Other states don't have any economics in their curriculum. They've adopted Common Core, and Common Core does not have any mention of economics in it.
That's not good.
I know some schools go above and beyond, but you know, with Common Core, they had to start somewhere with, you know, a lowest common denominator everybody could get around. So there's that. Some states handle it just in high school, which I did have too with government and economics. But the idea that you could have a conversation at home in your own family with your children or your grandchildren, you know, gives you a stronger connection and conversation. And I feel really strongly that it's mine and my husband's job to talk about things with our kids at home.
Yeah.
We've had great schooling. We have been part of really great schools. But it's really our job. You know, we chose to have kids and raise them. Let's tell them what's going on in the world, and let's put the ball in their court to arm them with information, because, you know, kids at any age are not 100% compliant. They're not going to do everything you say, and as they get older, they're going to stretch and exercise their independence.
Right.
Let's lay a foundation very early with decision making and economic terms so that it's not a shock and something they completely don't understand later in life, where they can't apply it and it's a very intimidating topic. That's why we chose to just use examples that would be very familiar in a family setting.
Okay.
So that kids are getting the information, but they don't have to think about widget producing or compound interest.
Okay.
You don't have to think about any of that.
That's
To
right.
fully,
What about
you can know the same amount of economics in elementary school or around a discussion on your couch with your kids or your grandkids as every single candidate seeking presidency of this country. I guarantee it. It's the same thing.
Well, what about the relationship, speaking of candidates, the relationship between work and earnings?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, does the allowance for the child get smaller if they haven't taken out the garbage that one night that they were supposed to? Does that happen?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, I talk to families who do it differently. There are certainly families that have offered up to me, you know, their allowance structure. In our house, the daily activities like taking out the trash, emptying or filling the dishwasher, making your bed, putting away your laundry, that's not for allowance, because to me, that's just what you do to live your life every day. It's necessary. No one's going to pay you later to do that. So don't create an incentive now of I get paid.
That's a good
if
point.
I do this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Sorry, Charlie. That's just part of life. Make it fun, enjoy it. Be glad you have clothes to put away. But, you know, we do have jobs in our family that do pay. Cutting the lawn pays. Washing and vacuuming out our cars pays. You know, there are jobs that pay. Raking the leaves pays. And again, I know when you get older, you're going to do those things without an incentive, but I think it's important to show there are very basic things you do just because it's part of living, and then there are other things that you can have a financial incentive for.
And
that's just our family. It works differently in different families. The point being, form a connection with your child on incentive and disincentive. That's what we cover in the book. We cover savings and spending in the book. We have this really cool graph that maps the inverse relationship between savings and spending. We show it with piggy banks and milkshakes. Because if you're putting all your money in the piggy bank, you're not going to have, you know, enough for a milkshake. But if you spend all your money on a milkshake, you're not going to have any money for your piggy bank.
Yeah, right.
So then you
really
find the perfect amount. We also address taxes, which I think is really fun to talk with kids and ask them how they think their teachers are paid for, their police, their roads, libraries.
Oh, that's
museums,
awesome. That's awesome.
Parks. kids love to go to the park.
Right.
And there's a very, very large, I believe it's a national park in Ocala. Isn't that a national forest?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Or is it state run? So that's a great opportunity. Let's go to the forest. Let's walk the trails. Let's have fun. How is that paid for?
That's a really good point. I'm glad that that's in the book. So before we run out of time, let's give the information so people can find the book online. It's called Let's Chat About Economics. Do you have a website for the book?
We do. It's letschataboutecon.com, but the easiest place to find us is on Amazon. You're always official if you're selling a book on Amazon. We offer it in paperback, hardback, and a Kindle version.
Okay, all right, excellent. Michelle, thank you for being on the air with us today, and if you're ever back in Central Florida, we'd love to have you in the studio.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing both of your voices and just knowing that I get to talk to folks in Ocala.
And right now, if the kids are saying, well, I got to buy some Christmas gifts or some Hanukkah gifts, and I don't have any money,
gifts.
well, one year from now, if they take some of these principles and put them into action, then 1 year from now they'll have the best gifts they ever gave anybody.
Yeah.
That's right. And I would say sitting down with your grandchildren or your children and reading a chapter from this book, less than 10 minutes, it's quality time together. You'll connect in a new way. The next time you have a choice to make, you can refer to it. It's really fun for the kids.
Good information. I love this. Michelle, again, thank you for being on the air with us.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you. We'll be right back.
Bye.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.